Okay, welcome back, Inebri-arts. So, I'm here to officially apologize. We are here with Amber Moses, who's been on before, and I missed her at our life drawing. So, Amber, I'm very sorry.
It's okay.
It wasn't you, it was me.
It's okay.
So, for people who don't know, Amber is a model who models for us at life drawing whenever she's in town, basically. And she's kind of a world traveler, gypsy, blogger type of person.
Yeah, it's the world now officially after 3 months in London.
Yeah. So what have you been up to? It's been about a year since you've been on the podcast.
Just about.
Yeah. So you went to London.
Yeah.
Are we talking about that? Do we not want to talk about that?
No, it's fine.
Okay, all right. I just
wasn't that much of a train wreck.
So what did you enjoy about London? Let's frame it in that.
Camden was amazing.
Camden's awesome, isn't it?
Yes, and actually you're the one that suggested that.
Yeah.
And that's fun.
Yeah. So I went to London. This is for our listeners because we obviously talked about it. And we were only there like a couple days, and people were like, "Oh, did you go to the Tower of London?" I'm like, "No." Buckingham Palace? No. Big Ben? No. They're like, "What did you do?" I'm like, "I went to Camden." And they're like, "What the hell's that?" I'm like, "It's like Harvard Square on steroids." And that was
that's a really great description of it.
Yeah, it was like all these shops that, like, the only thing I could think of was like if it was a medieval marketplace that has somehow over the years become permanent building-ish type things, because they're all like really small and tiny, and
except for a couple.
Yeah, and the roads kind of like intertwine. It was very like, it's just such a cool place.
It was interesting. They and I kept discovering, because I would go there, like I was staying within walking distance, so I would go there like,
oh nice,
pretty much every day, just bored, and I kept discovering like new shops because it's like amazing there.
Yeah, you could totally get lost like bad. And it's like you'd be walking down the street and you duck into a shop, and that shop would have an entrance out to another street, and you come out and you're like, I don't know where I am now.
Yep.
And because none of the roads are like, it's not like a grid, but it's like tiny Boston.
It's a little chaotic.
Yeah.
I loved it. That was probably my favorite part. I went up in the Shard, which is like the tallest building, and it's that big triangular thing.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of a rounded triangle. Is that the best way to describe it?
No, that one, that's like a corporate office building.
Oh, okay.
That's different.
I don't know what one that is.
It's like a really tall triangle.
I'll have to watch the opening of Sherlock and look for it, because I feel like Sherlock's opening is like cool buildings in London.
I don't know that they would. Isn't that period though? They wouldn't have.
No, the new Sherlock.
Yeah.
The one with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
That's like current day.
I don't watch much.
Oh, it's really good. Yeah. No, it's set in modern day. It's really good.
Yeah, well, it's probably in there. But you can either like pay money to go to the top floor, which is like 80 floors up, or you can dress nice and say, "Oh, I want a cocktail," and they like time you for 2 hours, and you can go to the 52nd floor and sit at a table and get the cocktails that you want instead of crappy champagne.
They time you?
Yeah, they will not let you stay there more than 2 hours because they know people do this. So you go up to the 52nd floor and you get the cocktail, like a good cocktail.
Yeah.
And one of the cocktails, they have little pictures of them. They're all like movie themed in this one little booklet.
Huh.
And it had a scorpion on it. It was like the Steven Spielberg cocktail, and it came with a little leaf, and it had like an actual scorpion that was dead. And I ate him.
Yeah. Gross. What do you taste like?
Like poison and vanilla.
Huh. What does a scorpion have to do with Steven Spielberg?
I don't know.
That's weird. I don't get that at all.
Like maybe Indiana Jones.
Maybe? I mean, there was like a bug thing in the second one, but not like scorpions. That's weird. I don't get that. Or the leaf. I don't know. But
it looked...
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Did you go on the... is it the Eye? Is that the Ferris wheel?
No, I didn't. And I had a ticket to do it, and I just like ran out of time because I ended up coming home a bit early.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, can't do that. Shit.
So, like, do you have to buy the ticket, like, way in advance?
No,
you just did.
I didn't do it because the line was super long the day that I was, like, already at the aquarium, and I didn't feel like standing in a 2-hour line to go on a Ferris wheel.
I can see that. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. So, are you still working on the blog?
Still working on the blog.
The blog is Gypsy in Space.
Yes.
Where can people find it?
www.gypsyinspace.com. And still working on that. I haven't done an entry since before Christmas, just because Christmas got
It's holidays,
crazy.
yeah.
But I'm going to be doing a Louisiana entry soon, and then people can follow my misadventures to Arizona and out west.
So you just got back from Louisiana?
Just got back from Louisiana.
All right.
And now I'm going to go to Arizona, and then California, and probably Oregon and all that.
What was in Louisiana?
The Renaissance Fair.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Are you kind of back on that circuit?
Ish, like, I'm hanging out with people there.
Yeah.
And kind of using it as a base while I go getting shenanigans.
Yeah.
But I'm not, like, full-time. I'm definitely doing the Arizona show.
Mm-hmm.
And then I might do the Southern California show, but after that, I'm probably not going to do anything until Louisiana again if I do it. Louisiana's just fun. Lots of fun.
We were just recording with Chris Mindel, and we were talking about New Orleans. So it's like, it just seems like it's a very good vibe.
New Orleans is a fun place, but it is a party city. Like, if you say, I'm not going to party, you'll go to New Orleans and you'll party. That's just how that goes.
I think it's a law.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. How many states have you been to?
I think all but 3.
What are the 3 you haven't been to?
Alaska, Hawaii, and I think Idaho.
Why not Idaho?
Like, I've never...
It's just never lined up?
It's never lined up, and there's, like, nothing strategically in Idaho.
Yeah. Well, there's not really anything in Idaho.
No.
So are you trying to cross off Hawaii and Alaska? Like,
I am, and Hawaii might happen in August.
Nice.
Alaska, I don't know, because it needs to be warm enough for me to not want to cry about it.
So your window for that is like probably like 6 weeks. Yeah, like 6 weeks.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I feel like you have to go though.
Oh, I know.
You can't go to like all the states except one. That just seems silly.
I mean, it's basically Canada though.
It's not though.
It's kind of Canada.
It's kind of. I mean, it's attached to it, but it's not.
It's kind of
like the part of the Canada you visit isn't the same as Alaska.
No.
You visit.
I've been to that part of Canada.
That the part of Canada that everyone goes to is like cold United States that speaks French.
That's basically Canada.
Yeah, but no. Then you go like higher up, and then it becomes like the Great Wilderness where you could get lost and people never ever find you.
Maybe I'll actually see a moose. I feel ripped off that I did not see.
I've never seen a moose
in Canada.
Seriously, neither one of you?
Never.
No, I don't think they actually exist.
So, new conspiracy theory: there are no moose. They've been hunted to extinction. You're part of the conspiracy. It's all,
I know what I saw.
It's all NASA. NASA and the Vatican are lying to us about moose.
And the Vatican.
So there is, I can say it because he's not ever going to listen to this because I think he's kind of sort of mad at me. There is a convention friend of mine who legitimately is a flat earther.
Who I'm not sure you're friends anymore.
Oh,
He hasn't unfriended me. And I feel like it is my sworn duty to contradict every single post he makes about it. And I'm like, no. And he's literally been like, why do you just do... And I'm like, because you're wrong. Like, you're wrong. You're wrong. And I'm afraid someone will believe you.
Some people are fun to troll, too. I mean...
It's very enjoyable.
They just get so passionate about it.
And he's so passionate about it. And it's like arguing with someone who is incredibly ADD, because they're like, this is proof because of this, that, and the other thing. And you're like, well, first of all, that's out of context, and that's not what that person meant, and this is how that is, and well, what about this? And like, that makes no, and it's just like, they just, instead of going, oh, you might be right about that first thing, it's just, they kind of just scatterbrain all over the place.
Yeah.
and it's in. So I mentioned the Vatican because a big portion of his belief in the whole flat Earth is because it's mentioned in the Bible. And so then it becomes NASA is behind the whole thing and blah blah blah, and I'm like, none of this makes sense because with the there's a huge number of countries in the world. Like everyone thinks of like China, Russia, but there's like tons of countries that like some of you probably never even heard of. Like, none of these people are like, yeah, the Earth's flat. Like, not one of them. And I'm like, what about the Vatican? Like, they have enough money that if they really wanted to... He's like, the Vatican's part of it. And I'm like, all right, I'm done. Like,
I thought he was Catholic.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how to tell him this.
And that's kind of where that was kind of like my, aha, I gotcha. Like, and then he's like, the Vatican's part of the conspiracy. And I'm like, oh, this makes no fucking sense. Wait,
is he one of those, like, really weird, tiny little group of Catholics who think the Pope is some dude who lives in Texas?
I don't think so.
Is this a thing?
First of all,
shit, it's a thing.
That never came up, but I think I may have to ask, because...
I swear to God, there was, like, this documentary on Netflix, and it's like...
The Pope is
Like,
wait.
Real Catholics, because some weird shit that happened, like, in the 17th century.
Oh, so they don't believe that the Pope
is the Pope.
That someone in Texas is what the Pope. Like, I thought you meant like
no,
the Pope is pretending to be Italian or whatever, and is really from Texas.
Well, no,
like,
I mean, isn't the
guy...
Pope? He's not even Italian.
I don't know. I can't remember what he was.
Argentinian.
Yeah. I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
Sorry to the Catholic listener, because if you've made it this far through the Inebri-art podcast, you're probably not Catholic.
Nah.
Yeah.
At least this episode.
Yeah. What episode? What episode are we at now? I'm
72?
sure. I'm sure we would have offended you at some point. All right. So that's all part of it. The Vatican is clearly covering this up. The only person who knows the truth is the real Pope in Texas, and he knows there's no moose. What the hell was that?
Somebody yelling.
There's just some sort of crazy voice that came down from upstairs. All right, that was weird.
There's not a problem yet.
All right. So are you researching the Pope in Texas? All right. I'm going to start a whole new fucking conspiracy theory.
This is great.
So what is your favorite conspiracy theory?
Oh, there's just so many.
There are.
Oh, I don't know.
Somehow now that we're on the topic.
Flat Earth is a good one.
Flat Earth is... Yeah, it's good. My absolute favorite one, it's funny that we kind of ended up on the one that we ended up on, and it's one that I've only heard from one source, and it's like my nephew's ex-girlfriend's father or something like that. It's the only person I've ever heard that believes this, that there are no cows.
Oh.
That
are they robots?
The government is... No, they're holograms. Don't be stupid. Robots? You know how expensive that would be? No, they're holograms. And I'm like, that's amazing. I want this guy to write a book. Yeah.
Actually, I think my favorite theories are the things with the reptilians and that we're basically living in they lived kind of
right. That all the
you're a David Icke fan.
All the powerful people. Fan is a strong word.
Somebody just showed me that movie in Louisiana. That's why I even
they live?
Have it fresh. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because I've got like so many movies that I have wanted to see. I just haven't sat down and And he's like, all right, which one out of the vast amount that you haven't seen? I'm like, they live. Screw it.
Yeah, it's a fun movie.
Yeah.
Until people started taking it for real.
Yeah.
Yeah. People are crazy. And what Fishes was? What was it that Stevie Wonder's blind?
Stevie Wonder's not blind.
Yeah.
It's an elaborate con.
That
No, it's utterly insane and completely fucking pointless.
I mean, if you've seen, what was it, the Prestige or whatever, like, there are some performers that dedicate to it.
Yeah, it's true, but
that's a little bit much.
But I think it's also people's definition versus the real definition of blind.
Like, I don't know how blind Stevie Wonder is. Like, I don't know if
you can still have some sight and be blind.
I don't know if he's blind, like, just nothing, or I don't know if it's like...
shapes and blurs.
Yeah,
and,
it's just lights and blurs, because you can react to stuff if you see motion in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. And now no. Yeah.
No what?
I'm trying not to get distracted by Googling how blind is Stevie Wonder.
Oh, no, you're supposed to be Googling the Pope in Texas.
The problem is there's a Pope County, Texas, so this is not fucking helpful.
Oh, boy.
I feel like you need
Maybe
to add
that's
the
where the
word.
Pope is.
I feel like you need to add the word conspiracy, and it'll pop right up. So what are you writing about on your blog? Just kind of your misadventures?
Basically my misadventures. I actually, from all that, I think I'm gonna, it's gonna take me some time to write it, but I want to do like a sci-fi novel based on everything.
About your misadventures?
About my misadventures, and,
What's sci-fi about your adventures?
well...
The lizard people.
Well, wait, though. Because it's just a vague concept right now, but, kind of like how, because, like, I'm bipolar, and I think that, because people who have mental illness are so, like, demonized in society, there's not enough, like, stuff that's, like, about them that makes them feel like, hey, maybe there's nothing wrong. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, just medicate them and shut them up kind of thing. Instead of that, it's like, well, maybe it's because there's completely different brains, because we're like aliens or something that are, like, got a transmission from, when humans were more instinctual, and that's why everything's so intense, and then, like, add in different alien. It's going to be cool.
Yeah. Interesting. So, obviously, fan of sci-fi.
Enough to get a tattoo on my spine, yes.
Right, you got the, what is that, not Klingon? Vulcan, thank you.
Vulcan, live long and prosper, in Vulcan script.
So, obviously Star Trek, but what other sci-fi things influence you?
Any random sci-fi stuff, really. A lot of sci-fi and, like, B-movie horror mixed together.
Yeah.
Mainly Star Trek lately.
They're running a new show, aren't they?
I haven't gotten into any of it because I haven't had steady cable.
And it's on like something weird. Anyway. It's on like some sort of weird like channel.
It's on CBS's streaming service because they thought that was a good plan.
Yeah, that's weird. Well, you know how those nerds are. They all have computers.
That's the thing, though. Is like now.
Yeah, but they're not going to spend $9 a month to watch Star Trek.
No.
Don't judge me.
She would spend $9 a month.
Just pirate it like a rational human being.
Fair. I can do that.
So when you're traveling, well, did you model at all in London?
I, honest to God, have not modeled since for you guys, but then before that, like, not since last year, but I'm going to be getting back into it. I did not model in London. I don't know why. It just never
came up.
Yeah. Because I don't know, Model Mayhem was, like, way more sketchy over there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It just, all the ads, like, rang like Craigslist ads, and I'm like, I don't want to deal with this.
That's weird. Like, I signed up for a Model Mayhem account because I figured it'd be useful, and then I think as soon as I did that, we've had zero problem getting models. It's just they've either been contacting us or someone's referred somebody, and
I love Model Mayhem in the U.S.
Yeah.
It was
over there it's just
sketchy shit.
Yeah. Come alone. That kind of, yeah. So what, for aspiring models who would be using such service, what would be kind of like a red flag?
If the dude... I guess... I don't know if a red flag, but,
I'm trying to remember. Is there like a rating on Model Mayhem?
There is. There's, like, people can leave reviews now, which is really good. I think the biggest red flag is not so much if they say to come without an escort, but if they're, like, creepily insistent about it. Because I do understand going without, especially if the studio's in the dude's house and, like, doesn't want somebody rifling through his stuff because then he can't focus on
right, yeah.
Because I've heard horror stories where, like, somebody tried to steal somebody's stuff while they were shooting with a model.
Right. You got this person hanging around.
Yeah. So it's like if they start to they should be talking like a professional.
Yeah.
But, like, even if it's, like, a bit relaxed, if they start to get to that point of, like, oh, well, you know, like, pushing for nudity kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not comfortable with it, just leave.
Yeah. Have you ever walked out in the middle of a shoot and just been like, this isn't for me? And
I haven't walked out in the middle of one, but I'm, like, really good at reading through bullshit online, and I don't know how to describe that skill to people.
yeah. It seems like the models that we have talked to all kind of have that ability to, like, something just doesn't sound right, and no thanks.
It's a lot of intuition.
Yeah. And I suppose you err on the side of caution. Been like, it might be okay, but no thanks.
Yeah.
And are there kind of, like, do you ever reach out to other models that you know and been like, have you worked with this guy kind of thing?
I haven't really, but that's definitely something I could do. I know that, like, one of the photographers that I work with kind of set up a little group of models that he emailed everybody and, like, had them create a list of recommendations that he forwarded to everybody.
Yeah.
And kind of, he's good at getting people in contact with each other, so.
Yeah. We've sort of done that. Like, I was contacting one, this was quite a while ago, because she's posted for us a bunch of times. And she was kind of like, you know, oh, you know, who are you guys? What do you do? Blah, blah, blah. And I was going through her Facebook page, you know, checking out some of her pictures, and I'm like, oh, you can ask Jennifer Evie about us, because you're in pictures with her. And she's like, oh, you're those guys? And I'm like, I hope that's good. So sometimes, I mean, it helps that just to be able to, like, oh, we work with this person,
Yep.
you know, if I can connect them. The blog.
Yes.
So you haven't, how often do you normally post on it?
Normally, I'm gonna be trying to do once every couple weeks.
Mhm.
I think.
Like, you don't have, like, a set, like, I post every Wednesday or every other Wednesday or
No,
something?
I should get to that. I'm gonna get to that point. I'm not there yet, because I just haven't been disciplined with it.
Yeah.
But it honestly, at this point, it's more of like a, hey, come check out my writing. I'll post things on Instagram to link people to the website, and it's going to be like a check out my writing, because I also like, I want to eventually write a novel. I want to do a poetry book, stuff like that, so that my name gets out there and people have an idea of it. But
Yeah.
now that I'm like, oh, that's what I can use this for, because for a while I was just doing the blog as a, maybe this will turn into something.
Something, right, yeah.
And now I'm actually like, oh, this is what it's turning into.
But and that's kind of, like, I feel like we've been talking a lot about that on the podcast lately, is it's being kind of open to those things. You know, do what you like, and then be open to the opportunities that kind of arise out of it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what Inebri-art is. It's like we started something, and then, like, it just kind of, oh, can you do this? Can you do that? How about this? And it's kind of all over the road, but it's keeps it interesting, keeps it fun. Now, have you ever had anybody send you stuff to be like, hey, can you check out my work? I asked this because I had her do it the other day.
You did. And that was pretty cool to be able to, like, read through somebody's poetry, and he writes good shit.
Yeah, and
There was only, like, that one poem that I thought could be, like, put together a little bit better, but...
Yeah, I sent it out to a handful of people. Pretty much everyone sent back. And, you know, some people were like, you know, it's good, blah, 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 something short. And then we had one guy, like, literally broke down each poem with, like, kind of, you know, everyone's got their own amount of time that they have free. And so I sent him an email and been like, oh, here, you know, this is what I told you about. And of course, I got the guy's permission to elaborate on the story, because I'm kind of being vague. A gentleman that I work with came over to me, asked me to take a look at some of his poetry, because he knew that I was involved in, you know, the art community, I guess. And I read it. I'm like, yeah, it's cool, but I'm not a writer. Like, it could be. I'm not even sure if everything's spelled right, to be frank. And I'm like, can I send this to some of my friends and get their feedback? And he's like, yeah, sure. And so just so you know, he was really appreciative. And he's like, I never expected so much feedback. And, they said really nice things. He's like, maybe I should have taken more writing classes. And I'm like, well, you're not dead. You can still take writing classes, you know? So you totally made his day.
That's awesome.
And hopefully he does more. So that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Do you prefer to write poetry or short stories, or like what's your favorite thing to write?
The
obituaries.
Sometimes. Those stay private, though. That's evidence. But I love poetry. I love writing, but like just anything that's like my work, because like I do a lot of editing work in general, but the stuff that's my baby, that's like my creative pieces, I love. The poems are fun though.
Yeah.
And those usually like I had one at the like, and they'll come like in a flood, and it's I better have my phone with me or I'm screwed and it's gone.
Yeah.
To be able to like just type it down. It's like fuck. And I know that I wrote one at the Grand Canyon that like, because it's so overwhelming, the human brain I swear cannot process the Grand Canyon. Like, there's even the Ron Swanson quote about there's only 2 acceptable places to cry: funerals and the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
And it's true, because you just can't handle it, and even if you're happy, you just start crying.
Yeah.
And it just inspired me so much that I wrote a poem like right there on my phone at the Grand Canyon. So it kind of comes whenever inspiration hits.
So be prepared and have something to...
Yeah, usually like if I'm really stoned or in nature, I better have something to write something down.
Yeah. Not that Inebri-art would ever condone the use of any mind-altering substance. My kids listen. But do you find that helps you?
A bit, yeah.
Yeah.
It takes the walls down that, like, I mean, it's legal in Massachusetts now.
Yeah.
Especially, like, a solid, like, indica that you just, like, in the couch, sitting there and,
So does it kind of, like, shut off the general noise of life? Is that...
It does.
Yeah.
It makes everything shut up for a while, because I'm a very... go kind of person. Even if I'm supposed to be relaxed, I'm like, what do I have to do? I feel like I should be accomplishing something.
Jeez, I don't know what that's like at all.
So it helps me mellow out enough to like focus on one thing at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I'm like just staring at something, like one I wrote about incense smoke.
Yeah.
Just staring at it, and it came out really good, and it's like, oh, cool.
Now, do you ever write something when you're stoned, and then you kind of, like, the next day you look at it and go, ugh, oh, that's, like, not even coherent? Do you ever kind of have that?
I haven't, surprisingly.
Yeah. That's a plus.
But, like, most of my writing style is kind of whimsical anyway.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, like, really bizarre no matter if I'm...
Kind of surreal.
Yeah. So it's... I mean, if the less it makes sense, sometimes the better it is.
Okay, it makes sense. And poetry isn't always about making sense. You know, I'm not a poetry fan, but I've read some in school, and you're like, I don't really get that. Although I think my favorite is it's a haiku, and it's something like, haikus are easy, they don't have to make sense, refrigerator.
That's awesome.
I think that's what it is. Something like that. But I've got stuck on my haiku. I forgot what I was going to ask you. Have you been to any shows recently? Because I know you're a big concert goer.
Damn it. Yes.
Did you get lost in my amazing haiku?
I did.
And you forgot who you've seen? It couldn't have been very good.
Lords of Acid.
Oh, that's right!
I got pulled up on stage, dude. It was so good.
And do you know who else I saw is coming around? Is My Life the Thrill Kill Cult.
Okay, I've only really like heard of them.
Oh, so yeah, like I found out about Lords of Acid and Thrill Kill Cult like at the same time, so I've kind of always in my brain equated the two. How was Lords of Acid? Yeah.
Well, so it was like I missed the first 2 bands because it was New York City, and fuck driving in New York.
Yeah.
But I got to Combi Christ open for them, and there was like...
I don't know who they are.
It's an industrial band.
Yeah.
and they had their drummer was dressed in drag and had a bunny mask on.
Okay.
But it was like a really fucked up bunny mask with like the mouth like held open and
Oh, weird.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
And he took the drum over to like the audience and had this big buff dude hold it while he like wailed on the thing.
Huh.
So that was awesome. And
Yeah.
and then Lords of Acid came on, and for Pussy they pulled 5 chicks up on stage, one of whom being me.
Yeah.
And Mia was whipping the girls on stage, and she whipped me hard enough that like I had a belly shirt on,
Yeah.
and it wrapped around my stomach and left a mark next to my belly button for like a week and a half. It was great.
Sure. It sounds horrible, but yeah, sure. That's awesome.
Let's see, I've seen some, and then before that was Roger Waters. That was amazing.
Yeah.
And I took my brother, and he's I didn't really realize he was a Pink Floyd fan because he's always kind of listened to hip hop, and it was great. He just sat there in awe the whole time.
Oh, that's cool.
It was great.
Yeah, my son is very much into music, and he's very into Slipknot and Five Finger Death Punch and some really heavy stuff. And then the other day, he's like, "Oh, I'm getting into this band." I'm like, "What band?" He's like, "The Beatles." And I'm like, "Right on!" And like, it's so cool because he's very open to like different types of music, and
Variety
yeah.
is so important in music
Yeah.
choice. Like, I make it a point to listen to everything I can. I just can't handle new country and new hip hop. It just...
Do you find you listen to a certain kind of thing when you write?
I don't really listen to anything when I write because
Yeah.
I can't focus. Although sometimes, like anything kind of trancey, like either trance or stoner metal.
Yeah.
It works well.
What was it? Do you know Dan? You know Dan Kern?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was telling us a lot of times when he works as I think it's a Pandora channel or something. I'd have to go back and check the podcast. But it essentially plays ambient sound from wherever you tell it. So, like, if you're like, I'm in Pembroke, then it will play kind of like crickets and, the occasional... But if you put, like, New York City, it's going to be, like, cars and like, whatever you would be hearing.
I need to check this out.
Yeah, to me, it sounds like, I could see how that would be really helpful when you want... Because I'm very much a person who can't get much done in silence. Like, there has to be something on in the background. Mm-hmm. I can't sleep in silence. I just need noise. And I feel like that would be, like, a really productive thing to be listening to.
Yeah, if you get distracted by music, because, like, and I if I'm doing other projects,
Yeah.
I'm, like, sewing or whatever, or, like...
But I could see
painting,
music
is
being
better.
tough to write with.
Yeah. Unless it's straight melody that I can, like, kind of zone out.
Mm-hmm. Like, no words to sing along with.
Or the words are completely incoherent.
Yeah. I have been at work listening to podcasts, and they won't let us use headphones anymore. So it's like trying to find something that I either can hear when I have it on quiet enough so that no one else can hear it, or that is safe enough for work and still interesting. And there's one that I love called Sawbones, and it's a couple. The wife is a doctor, and the husband plays the idiot. I mean, I'm sure he's not as stupid as he plays on the podcast. And they'll pick like a medical topic, say cancer, and they'll go back to the dawn of time and be like, this is the first recorded case of cancer we have, this is what they thought would treat it, and this is why it's crazy, and they'll kind of work their way up to the modern day and be like, this is currently what we treat cancer with. Which is good, and it's really entertaining, and they don't swear in it, so, because they want it to be for families, so I can kind of listen to it at work. But then there's always the point where the person in the next cubicle, would be like, did they just say anal infections? And you'd be like, yeah, that's what they said. I didn't think that was going to come up in the episode about salt. So. Yeah.
Make that connection.
Yeah, it was, you steer away from the, I'm not going to listen to gonorrhea at work, but, salt will be okay. Not so much. So you said sewing. You make clothes?
I don't make clothes so much as I stitch the patches on these pants.
Oh, okay. So just kind of alter the stuff you have.
Yeah, pretty much.
Have you always been a sewer, seamstress? Sewer.
I'm good at creative stuff.
Yeah.
I'll just do projects. My mom was like that, and she always was doing crafts with me that I just kept going with it. I make jewelry, I do this, I do that. Nothing super fancy, but enough that it's I can make a funky thing that's mine.
Yeah, just gonna be fun and different. Is there one craft that you do that would be really unexpected, like welding or forging?
No, I've wanted
cookie making or
I love baking.
Yeah,
I love baking.
Brownies, I feel.
Yes, but no, my favorite thing that I do, it's a cookie pie that it's automatic.
Why did you not bring cookie pie?
Because I'm cleansing.
Not for you. For the two chubby guys here.
I didn't think of it.
Yeah.
But
that's gonna be our next time. Next time we book her, it's gonna be please bring cookie pie.
Yes.
I don't even know what it is, but it sounds awesome.
Well, I call it diabetes for a reason.
All right.
I do from scratch Toll House cookie dough, put it in a pie tin, and then I put Reese's miniatures on top. And then when it's done, I put chocolate sauce on top and Reese's Pieces on top. I have been told that what I should do
is just kill people.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
just do it quick. Just do it quick and get it over with.
But I was asking people for their ideas, and my friend Steve said, well, what you should do is you should put, instead of, you should do the chocolate chip cookie dough, and because I wanted to put bacon in it. So chocolate chip cookie dough and bacon chunks in it. And then on top, instead of the chocolate sauce, do a salted caramel drizzle with maple bacon.
I feel like that. People would like that. I kind of like my sweet and savory separate.
I've heard that from a few people, but
people who don't would probably...
Oh, yeah, no, I love...
hurt somebody to have that.
The best thing ever is in Salem, there is this one chocolate shop that has dark chocolate, bacon peanut butter cups with, sea salt on top. Best thing ever.
So, with all the traveling that you've done, what is, the one... your favorite dish that you've come across?
It's actually the simplest thing ever.
She's gonna be it's energy drink that you can order online or something.
God.
Do you still do the energy drinks?
No, because I could start to feel my kidneys by the end of Louisiana, which is why I'm still cleansing, because 4 Red Bulls in one day is not a good thing to do for 2 months straight.
Probably not. No.
No, it's there's a cheese in London called halloumi.
Okay.
And all you gotta do is grill it for a few minutes. I could live the rest of my life eating halloumi cheese and I wouldn't care. It's the best food on the damn planet.
It would not be a very long life.
No, but so it's just...
It'd be good, though.
It's just cheese? You don't put it on bread or anything?
Nah, it's just the cheese. I mean, you can. They make, halloumi fries where they, take it like a mozzarella stick. And,
and melt it over. So, you bread it.
Deep fried.
Yeah, you bread it deep fried.
First of all, you can bread and deep fry damn near everything.
Yes, you can.
And it'd be fantastic.
I work for a guy who lives by that principle, and so at some of the Ren fairs, so...
Yeah. So what do you do at the Ren fairs now? You used to sell horns and wings.
I used to sell horns and wings. Now I mainly work in food. Down in Louisiana, I was selling candied nuts, which being able to look at people nuts. And say, put my nuts in your mouth is the funnest thing ever.
Do you have anything to add, Ange? I feel like you just perked up.
And in Arizona, it's going to be fun because I'm going to be working backstage at a bakery, and apparently she's got a couple actual...
Sorry, backstage? I don't really think a bakery has a stage. I'm not judging.
When you're at front counter, it is a stage when you got to put a corset on and pretend you give a shit.
All right, I suppose. Fair enough. All right, backstage.
So she'll have the corset,
I get it.
Won't give a shit.
Yeah.
Basically. No, I'll be. I don't even have to dress up, but I get to work out back, like doing the prep work, like frosting and stuff like that on the different pastries. But they're actual pastry chefs, so I'm definitely, while I'm working, going to be like paying attention to what they do, so I can learn a bit
pick some
more.
stuff up.
And yeah, for sure, because I love baking, and it's been way too long.
That's got to be like the cool thing about traveling around as much as you do is the things you can learn, the people that you can meet.
Oh yeah, I was actually having a conversation, I think it was like with one of my aunts. It's like, I know so many people with so many different talents that I'm picking up. Like, I can do a bit of belly dancing now. I know a guy who knows how to flip butterfly knives like it's nothing.
Yeah. You have a butterfly knife guy.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I'm going to learn fire spinning.
It was good to know you.
Yeah.
Why don't you set yourself on fire, you know?
Well, yeah, because it is me after all. Aerial silks, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Arizona's going to be fun. There's a lot of talented people that go down there, but it's like you meet people. Like, I hang out with these guys who are like in the, I want to say it's a Viking metal band. That they just recorded an album up in Washington. And
so are they Vikings?
Kind of.
Not
really.
Like,
I mean,
what the hell is Viking metal? Like,
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
It's a weird subgenre.
I don't know how subgenre. I think most metal is kind of Viking metal.
A little bit.
I feel like metal is very...
Most Vikings are by default metal, so it's kind of...
I feel like...
I mean, I've partied with Norwegians. They're definitely metal people.
Yeah. Oh, it's huge up there. But I also feel like metal is made like almost like there's, I don't want to say there's no mainstream metal, but like metal is all genre.
It really, like, yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, there's operatic metal, and then there's, you know, death metal and Viking metal, and, you know, there's so many like subgenres that just kind of are encompassed in metal.
Most of it's good. Some of it's terrifying.
Terrifying or bad?
That's what I mean.
Yeah, alright, okay.
Not much scares me, so... Except clowns. Oh, God.
Clowns, really?
I do not like clowns.
Why clowns?
Nobody likes clowns.
I just don't find them scary, like, I don't...
I don't know.
Is it like...
Pennywise, specifically.
It's always it.
And it's
always goes back to it.
It's not the new Pennywise, although that one was like a little bit creepier than I expected to be after the second half of the movie.
Yeah.
But Tim Curry as Pennywise like gave me nightmares. Like,
I feel like Tim Curry as Tim Curry could give anybody nightmares if he wanted to.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like, so many... I feel like it was... I think between it and... Was it John Wayne Gacy? Was he there?
Yeah.
I feel like between those two things, I think that's where all the clown...
Probably.
The horrible things come from.
I can't imagine why a serial killer who eats people dressed up as a clown is...
Makes you...
Conflating Dahmer with...
Yeah.
Makes you afraid of Tim Curry. I don't know what it is.
I don't know. Again, I feel like Tim Curry could be scary all on his own.
Probably.
Because I think him as Darkness and Legend, I mean, that could ruin some sleep, some sleep for you. That was a movie that came out in like the early '80s. Fish.
I've seen movies. Andy. I honestly thought that.
No, that wasn't it. Wasn't it Legend?
Confused me.
What did I say?
Darkness.
Yeah.
No, Legend.
The movie was Legend.
Legend. Yeah, but his character was Darkness.
See, it's been so long since I've seen it. You know what? That might. I saw that in childhood.
Yeah. Well, that's what I've always heard him referred to as. There may be a different name for his character.
I don't know. No idea.
So is there... You're a fan of Rick and Morty?
Oh, God. Yes.
Would you ever see yourself or want to write for something like that?
I don't know if I could write comedy because most of the funny things I come up with are so in the moment that it's like kind
of like you had to be there type stuff.
Yeah. So I don't know that I could write for comedy, but I wouldn't be against it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would want like...
Yeah, I mean, not like maybe I could see not wanting to like write for Rick and Morty, something that you really, really like, but maybe something like of your own creation.
Yeah, for sure. I think
Your
that would
own
be...
stoner cartoon.
Oh, you're giving me ideas. That might be a thing.
I feel like Gypsy in Space travels.
I don't think you know what you just did.
I don't know. This is what I do. I just say random shit, and sometimes people are like, "Oh my god, that's a good idea."
Actually, I'm writing this fucking down.
Have you
So we
seen?
get producer credits for this, right?
I feel like copyright.
We have to have that Bruce Campbell discussion now.
Yes, we do. Yeah, we will take a small portion to fund us tormenting other people with ideas that we implant. See, I'm one of the lizard people. I just brainwashed her.
It doesn't take much. I've had a lot of ideas in the past few years where I'm like, oh shit, that wasn't my idea.
Yeah. There was this one guy I met. His name's Dave. He's an artist. He's a tattoo artist. He was an animator, worked on Anastasia and Titan AE.
No shit.
But I kind of lost contact with him. Like, I sort of know where he works, but it's like not nearby, so it's not like it's not letting me like, oh, I'm gonna swing by and see if he's on today and kind of like touch base again. But I was talking with him one day. He's like, I have this great idea for a cartoon, and this is what it is. I'm not gonna say it on well, it's being recorded. I'll tell you afterwards. And I'm like, oh my god, that's fucking amazing. You need to do that. And, it's one of those, and now I'm like, oh my god, I want that to be a thing. That needs to be a thing. And, like, I'm just trying to, like, get in contact with him. And he's busy with tattoos. And I don't know if he still works, even where he did work at the time. But, it's...
Tattoo artists will change shops.
Well, I mean, he was a tattoo artist, but he had a full-time regular gig, because he had a kid. So he had to be a grown-up and have insurance and, But, for all I know now, he could be doing tattoos full-time,
Yeah.
Who knows? But amazing, amazing artist. Like, phenomenal. He would draw the most beautiful photorealistic. Like,
Nice.
he's a big monster movie fan. So, like, yeah. You would have dug him. Cool guy. Mohawk Dave.
Mohawk Dave.
I don't...
Already sounds awesome.
Don't even know what his last name is. Just know him as Mohawk Dave. So Mohawk Dave, if you're out there listening, shoot us an email. Now I'm just gonna get fucking emails from all sorts of guys named Dave. I have a mohawk. Cool. So once your cartoon comes out, we'll publish this. No, but do you have anything else going on? Like, where can people see what's going? I mean, you have your blog. We already mentioned that. So, is there like anywhere else that you put your writing? Or?
I don't really put my writing anywhere else.
Yeah.
I thought about putting it up on the website, but I also was like, well, if you're going to publish this,
right? Yeah.
then you shouldn't be putting it up for free.
True. That makes a lot of sense.
Until you publish it and then put little teasers out.
Yeah.
So.
And people can find you on Model Mayhem if they want to book you.
Model Mayhem. And I have a modeling Facebook page, just Amber Moses. And then my Facebook page for Gypsy in Space is Amber Moses, blogger at Gypsy in Space. And there's like a...
So you have a Facebook page for that?
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that. I don't mean like, I don't know if I...
Yeah.
It's not like I'm not saying I don't approve. I don't know if I have actually gone on it. I don't approve of what you're doing with your life. No,
Not a lot of people do.
I don't know if I have followed your page.
Yeah.
So.
I haven't gotten as many likes on that one.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of... It's basically, I went lazy with it, and everything that I post on my Instagram goes on my...
Goes on you, yeah.
Because
So you're more of an Instagram kind of person?
It's easier, because it doubles up to Facebook. And,
Right, yeah. Well, what's your Instagram then?
Gypsy in Space, but there's like underscore. It's Gypsy_in_space.
Okay. Nice. Well, thanks for hanging out with us. We'll have to get you modeling again when you are back here. See, I feel like we've been having a conversation about, because we schedule very far in advance, and then other friends of ours are like, no, we'll schedule this month, and then we'll schedule next month, which is fine. That's the way they do things. I'm like, we can't do that, because then Amber would never, ever pose for us. Cause it's like, we don't even know when the hell she's around.
I don't even know when the hell I'm around, honestly.
So you gotta let us know when you're back in town. We'll try and set something up.
Sweet.
And, yeah, thanks for hanging out, man. And any parting words for our 2 listeners?
Live long and prosper.
Nice. All right. Thanks for listening to our podcast. Don't forget to check out our other podcast. There's the Bar Talk podcast. There's Old Colony Cast. And, of course, the Inebri-art podcast along with Jam Packed. You can find all those on Stitcher, iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, pretty much anywhere podcasts are found. If you're on some sort of service and you can't find it, let us know, and we'll help you out or add our podcast with that, too. You can contact us at Inebri-art@yahoo.com and follow us on Facebook as well as Twitter at Inebri-art. And feel free to send us some tips, ideas, advice, hate mail, whatever it is, you can get us there. And again, thanks for listening.